October 27, 1962, a day etched in history as Black Saturday, brought the world to the precipice of nuclear annihilation. The Cuban Missile Crisis, a pivotal Cold War confrontation, reached its terrifying climax, fueled by the secret installation of Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba. These weapons, capable of striking major U.S. cities within minutes, transformed the geopolitical landscape into a powder keg. The crisis began on October 14, 1962, when U-2 spy planes captured photographic evidence of missile site construction. President John F. Kennedy, viewing the missiles as a dagger at the heart of the United States, immediately convened his senior advisors. This group, known as XCOM, debated the perilous options, ultimately rejecting an immediate airstrike. Kennedy instead opted for a naval quarantine of Cuba, aiming to prevent further Soviet offensive weapon shipments. On October 22nd, he announced this decision to the nation, warning that any Soviet vessel attempting to breach the quarantine would be seized. Despite the quarantine, tensions escalated dramatically, pushing the world closer to the brink. On October 27th, a U-2 spy plane was shot down over Cuba, killing pilot Major Rudolph Anderson. This tragic event intensified pressure on Kennedy to take immediate military action, raising fears of an inevitable conflict. Simultaneously, U.S. Navy destroyers were dropping signaling depth charges to force Soviet submarines to surface. One of the most critical incidents involved the Soviet submarine B-59, a Foxtrot-class vessel armed with nuclear torpedoes. The B-59, part of Operation Nadir, was dispatched to the Caribbean to support Soviet arms deliveries to Cuba. On October 27th, U.S. Navy destroyers and the aircraft carrier USS Randolph located the B-59 near Cuba. The submarine, out of contact with Moscow, was suffering from extreme heat, low battery power, and high carbon dioxide levels. The U.S. Navy began dropping signaling depth charges, attempting to force the B-59 to surface. Captain Valentin Savitsky, believing war had already begun, ordered the arming of a nuclear torpedo. Launch authorization, however, required the agreement of all three senior officers on board. Vasily Arkhipov, the flotilla commander and second-in-command, refused to give his consent. Arkhipov's decision prevented the launch of the nuclear torpedo, a choice widely credited with averting a potential nuclear war. Had the torpedo been launched, it would have likely triggered a full-scale nuclear exchange between the United States and the Soviet Union. During the crisis, General Curtis LeMay, U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff, strongly advocated for bombing the missile sites. LeMay believed a show of force would compel the Soviets to capitulate, clashing with Kennedy's more cautious approach. He opposed the naval blockade and, even after the Soviet withdrawal, suggested invading Cuba. LeMay criticized Kennedy's handling of the crisis, calling it the greatest defeat in our history. Amidst these near disasters, diplomatic channels remained open, a lifeline in the escalating tension. Kennedy and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev engaged in intense negotiations to find a peaceful resolution. A secret agreement was reached. Soviets would remove missiles from Cuba under UN supervision. In return, the United States pledged not to invade Cuba and secretly agreed to remove its Jupiter missiles from Turkey. On October 28th, Khrushchev announced the Soviet Union's decision to dismantle and remove its offensive weapons from Cuba. This pivotal announcement effectively brought the crisis to an end, pulling the world back from the brink. The Cuban Missile Crisis had profound consequences, marking the closest the world has ever come to nuclear war. It highlighted the extreme dangers of brinkmanship during the Cold War, a lesson learned at immense cost. The crisis led to the establishment of the Moscow-Washington hotline, facilitating direct communication between leaders. It also convinced Kennedy of the need for greater caution in dealing with nuclear threats. The U.S. quietly removed its missiles from Turkey, fulfilling its secret agreement. The Soviet Union, feeling humiliated, embarked on a massive nuclear buildup to achieve parity with the United States. This buildup contributed to Khrushchev's eventual fall from power in 1964. The events of October 27, 1962, serve as a stark reminder of the potential for miscalculation. They underscore the critical importance of diplomacy in preventing nuclear catastrophe. Individuals like Vasily Arkhipov, who chose reason over reflex, played a crucial role. His actions averted a global nuclear war, changing the course of history. The legacy of Black Saturday continues to resonate, a testament to human resilience and the fragility of peace. It reminds us that even in the darkest hours, individual courage and wisdom can steer humanity away from the abyss. The lessons of 1962 remain vital, urging constant vigilance and dialogue in an ever-complex world. The day the world almost ended serves as a timeless warning. It is a powerful narrative of how close we came to an alternate, devastating reality, and a profound reminder of the responsibility we bear for our collective future. The world survived, but the echoes of October 27, 1962, continue to resonate, a silent testament to a moment when humanity held its breath.